Detrimental news for fight fans all across the world heading into UFC 312, as this fight has the potential to get canceled before the event starts. And why could this happen? This is because Sean Strickland has staph infection. Now you guys can see it in that photo down there on his left shoulder, right about here, top of the bicep area. It looks like he does have staph infection. And Dricus actually made a comment on this. He said, "What? He grew taller and added staph infection to his arsenal?" Now, obviously, this is Dricus trolling, but in all seriousness, this is horrible news for Sean Strickland, and I'm not a financial advisor nor a betting advisor. However, if you were thinking of putting money on Strickland because of how good he looked last time against Dricus Du Plessis and how close of a fight it was, I would not do that. I'm personally not doing that because it was a close fight last time, and it's scheduled to be another close fight this time. However, fighters with staph infection have been shown a lot, especially in recent UFC history, to perform worse than if they didn't have staph infection. And we know Murad might have had staph infection going into UFC 311. However, he is just a specimen of a person when it comes to cardio, and you cannot compare that case to anybody else. His cardio was still outstanding. He got through it, and he embarrassed Umar Nurmagomedov. But if we look back to Benoit Saint-Denis, who many people thought was going to beat Dustin Poirier, went into that fight with staph infection, and what were the results? He looked a lot more gassed out than he ever has been in his career before. Because the antibiotics that you have to take for staph infection do wear you out more. You will get tired quicker. You will not have the same endurance or same stamina as you would have if you weren't on the staph infection antibiotics and didn't have staph. And there's honestly potential news of UFC 312 getting canceled this weekend because of the staph infection. The staph has to fully heal up by Friday, is what I'm told, and if his wound is not fully healed up, I won't do a gross zoom in, but you guys can on YouTube. His wound is not fully healed yet, so if that is not healed by Friday, I'm not sure if it will be called off or who the backup fighter will be, but this just ruins a ton of hype going into this fight because the first fight was genuinely a really close fight. I had it scored for Strickland. Big Dana had it scored for Strickland, and a lot of people had it scored for Strickland, and so people were hyped to see the rematch. I do think still going into it before that DDP was going to beat Strickland again this time because I think DDP just has more to his game than Strickland has to his game. However, I feel like it's also a matter of time before DDP's luck runs out and all these wins stop coming because he's not the most technical or most skilled fighter. I just think it's a matter of time before someone beats him. I think Khamzat eventually will if Strickland didn't. However, I still believed it to be a good fight, but now that Strickland has staph infection, I think that this sways the fight even more out of his favor than it was before. And with these betting lines still being relatively close, I would not bet a lot of money on Strickland if you still are. I mean, you guys are young people. This isn't advice. You guys should do what you want, but it is something to think about if you're putting money on this fights or just good to know is going in the fights in general. And if we look here, the lines are still not adjusted for this. DDP is a minus 215 favorite, and Sean is a plus 165 favorite. So it is decent odds for DDP going into it just normally, but if you factor in staph infection to this, it kind of gets like, oh, you know, I could put 200 down on DDP and almost make $100 back, and he's going to fight a guy he already beat, has a better win sense, and the guy has staph infection. That might be a play. Maybe you are super confident in another fighter on the card, even though we know it's all unranked fighters besides the main co-main event, which is another rant for another time. Maybe you toss them in there and get even better odds, you know. I'm big fans of the Brooklyn Nets tonight going against the Wizards after they traded away Kuzma and Valanciunas, so I'd parlay those together, but I would have to drive an hour away to get into a state where sports betting is legal, so no bets going in for me. But anyways, that is news I wanted to bring to you guys. It's important to know that before UFC 312, especially if you're tossing a couple bucks on there for your paycheck. So leave a comment. Let me know if you guys think this sways the outcome of this match and who wins, DDP or Sean Strickland. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.